You can't tell me there isn't political will to rip up a system that allows United Healthcare to deny.
This is a lot more simpler than people are thinking. You don't have to run on you don't have to run on promising universal health care. That is just going to trigger people to vote against their own interests because they've been conditioned by the insurance industry to hurry up and die. They've been conditioned to vote against their own interest, and they've been conditioned to think that universal health care is an evil communist thing. Don't run for that. Run for making it illegal, prohibited, however you want to draft and word that. It has to be prohibited that an insurance company can make healthcare decisions for the people that they provide coverage to, because they will inevitably, and the numbers don't lie. Look at what universal health care has done, dying 30+% of claims. They will inevitably make a biased decision that protects their corporate profits. Americans cannot profit off their body. I can't go and sell my liver, but an insurance company can profit off of denying me help and access to care for my liver. Okay, so this is really simple. Don't try to run on a ticket for universal health care. That's something that we can achieve at a later date as we build consensus amongst people who keep voting against their interests and voting to hurry up and die. Simply make it illegal for a healthcare company to make healthcare decisions for patients. And even when they say, well, what if we set up situations where a third party has to validate, right? That's forcing the covered person to go to another doctor and pay for that. Pay for the validation of the fact that they need the medical procedure. Make that illegal too. The insurance company has gotten around claims of unauthorized practice of medicine by hiring doctors, nurses, mental health care professionals to make decisions for those to whom they are have covered with insurance. But the problem is that those doctors, lawyers, and all of that, nurses, have been incentivized to deny a certain amount of claims. So this is a simple solve. Like I keep arguing, politicians need to ABC or FAFO. Politicians need to ABC or FAFO. Always be campaigning or you are going to FAFO. And this is something right now that every politician can be all over social media talking about what they're going to do to address this need. It's very simple to fix the fact that people see Democrats, third-party leftists, etc., as detached from reality and confusing and lost in wokeness and erudition by looking at what the public is saying in real time, coming up with policies and procedures and fighting for it. You may not get to where you're trying to go by getting a bill, legislation to address this popular issue. You may not get anywhere, but you can talk about it, document what you're doing, talk about what you're writing. And in that way, you are ABCing so that you don't FAFO. And if Democrats can internalize that, they can start winning because people will be conditioned. Like waiting 90 days until your election it's not the way to run. And Democrats look privileged and detached because they haven't been in it. And I'm not there. Each of you have personal situations where you went in and you talked to a politician and you have really good engagement. But I'm talking about the mass of Democrats who should be right now addressing this, talking about what they should do, providing education. Because what happens is that you guys don't ABC, so you keep FAing, FOing, because you cannot overcome bigotry and white supremacy with like a little bit of because here's the deal, and I'm gonna wrap it up here. Democrats think that presenting themselves as a rational, reasonable, good person fighting for the lower classes will make them look better than the crazy on the other side. It doesn't work. It doesn't work because they're not achieving these lofty goals and materializing measures to help solve the problems that are discussed in all this lofty discourse that they're doing. So like I said, you need an ABC or FAFO. Y'all need to hire me, because if you go watch Pod Save America, you will see how the those who are running the Kamala Harris campaign are like erudite, affluent. They seem like very like wealthy people who are not going to be affected by the Trump administration. So they're just like, oopsie, yes, we're going to push the blame away. We did the best we could. When anybody with a shred of common sense would have known Kamala Harris should have always been campaigning the whole 4 years. Always been campaigning. And she didn't have to step on the toes of Biden while campaigning, while talking herself up. While she was vice president. Just as vice president, in the next, she can talk about the 4 years after, even when we didn't know that Biden was going to be pushed out. Could have been campaigning on the fact that when I become president in so many years, here is what I'm going to do. We appreciate what Biden is doing, but she needed to set herself apart, and she did not do that. Black women got to learn something, okay? And all of us, Black women, honestly, in the corporate context, we have to learn. Do not hitch yourself to the wagon of the man who leads you as a Black woman. And it's not a black or white thing. It's not that. It's just that you have to set yourself apart, and you have to take a position that shows you in the most positive light. Because as Black women, we know that we have to make people feel comfortable. We have to not be too aggressive, all that nonsense that you're fighting. And I understand why Kamala, even when she's smiling all the time, she's smiling because we as Black women have to make people feel comfortable with ourselves. But the problem is that we are now in a time in which people want something different. So Black women have to learn a different approach to seeking and gaining power and position, because hitching yourself to a man's wagon because he's in leadership and you're up under him is just not going to work. So you're going to have to be revolutionary and to push past, to negotiate a position past the person who is your manager, your president, etc. But anyway, ABC or FAFO, y'all, spread that around. Oh, and make sure you credit me.